Grit with Grace is brought to you by Zoetis. Your dedication runs deep, and it fuels everything Zoetis does. To protect and support cattle and those who care for them, we are born of the bond. Learn more at bornofthebond.com.
Well, they're reaching the world by teaching about dairy. They're the social media sensation, New York Farm Girls. And this Father's Day weekend, we uncover the story behind New York Farm Girls and why being so visual on social media isn't always full of smiles. For the girls and their dad, it's required a glass full of grit and grace.
Good morning, everyone.
They've become a social media sensation.
Hey, girl. How's your morning going?
With nearly 645,000 followers on TikTok, the New York Farm Girls are taking all of social media by storm.
Social media can reach millions of people by the touch of a button. So I think it's been really cool that we're able to reach this many eyes in the world to try to share that dairy farmers are not evil people.
New York Farm Girls consists of three sisters, Evelyn and Claudia Lubner, who are both in their early 20s, and their sister JoJo, who's still in high school. And their goal is to simply share life on the farm.
We're a fourth generation dairy farm. It's a partnership between my dad, his sister, his brother, and our two cousins. And I think we're over 100 years old now.
With a mix of dairy cattle, row crops, hay, and an agritourism pumpkin farm, life here is in constant motion, which has allowed each of the girls to uncover their niche.
I've always loved working with animals. I actually went to SUNY Cobleskill for animal science because of my love for animals, and I honestly thought I would never come back to the farm.
But she did, and she quickly knew that cowside was her calling.
I'm pretty much doing herd checks, vaccinations, I help with the preg checks on Mondays, pretty much everything cows and some calf stuff. I'm your girl.
While all of the girls started on calf feeding duty in elementary school, those farm chores also gave them a taste for what they did and did not want to do.
So after I fed calves for that long, I realized it's not really something that I was all too passionate about.
After attending the University of Nebraska, Claudia came back with a love for grains.
I'm helping with planting season, harvest season, everything in between, and it's been really fun to start to learn about our crop operation.
And JoJo, well, as a high schooler, she still works on the farm part-time.
She goes to school during the day, comes home and does calf chores every night. And she doesn't really know what she wants to do yet with her future, but she doesn't have to know.
While the sisters work together on the farm, it's their collaboration on social media that's helping plant new seeds of opportunity for their business, even living in New York.
When you come up to upstate New York, you're going to see lots of lakes, hills. All of our fields are full of rocks. Claudia can tell you about that. It's just really beautiful up here, and we're definitely a lot more than New York City.
The girls will be the first to tell you they couldn't do this alone.
But I came back because I really did miss my family, and I just like that feeling of working with your family and kind of being your own boss. So that's really what pushed me to come back, and just working every day with the animals is one of my favorite things ever. Evelyn just admitted that she missed me, so let's note that down.
As sisters, they don't always agree, but social media has actually drawn them closer.
Having this relationship together and doing things like this, and we've just become a much bigger, stronger bond. And we're really good at holding each other accountable. Like if Claudia is slacking on something or I'm slacking on something, we let each other know and we don't get offended anymore.
Bonds that were built despite the harsh reality of social media.
Sometimes it's not even the extremists, it's also other farmers or people you know in real life that are the ones that are, sending negative comments to you. So it's kind of like Evelyn said, you kind of just have to brush it off because we have an end goal in mind on our agenda, and we want to be able to speak to this movable middle, the consumers, other farmers about what we're doing here on our operation. And you kind of just have to learn to ignore it. In the beginning when we started, we really took it to heart and it impacted our mental health and kind of almost made us not want to do social media anymore.
But even then, these sisters refused to quit, as their motivation was seeing constant social media posts plagued with misinformation.
It's a huge passion of ours to teach consumers about agriculture because they're the ones buying our products. We want them to trust us. All those touchy subjects that people don't really want to talk about, we dive into all of that.
With a variety of skills and personalities, the girls no longer focus on reaching those who are anti-dairy. Instead, they target what they call the movable middle.
These people don't know where their food is coming from. They think it's coming from the grocery store. So we want to be able to target these people and tell them exactly where their milk is coming from that they're buying.
And what they're doing
There's no antibiotics in milk.
is working.
I just did a post the other day on Facebook about how there's no antibiotics in milk ever, and it reached almost 500,000 people because of how many people shared that post. Happy Dairy Month!
With June Dairy Month, the girls decided to do a series of videos busting dairy myths.
When you hop online and you see negative connotations with artificial insemination or antibiotics, you're obviously going to believe that right away, because surface level, it might seem bad to you, but once you kind of go to the source and see how it's actually done, I think you can feel a lot better about where your food is coming.
While the New York Farm Girls brand has grown, their motivation has stayed the same.
We just want to reach as many people as we can, teach people about agriculture. It's just really comes down to that.
Each one of the New York Farm Girls is very visible on social media, but a less familiar face on the farm is one that has been a constant stream of support.
My dad is a great teacher, very patient. You need a lot of patience with me. So has always been very supportive of what we want to do here on the farm, or, in our business and everything.
And maybe the reason he's such a great teacher is because farming is what Tim Lubner knew he was meant to do.
I never left. I just loved it ever since I was a little kid. I couldn't wait to get out of school and go find my dad, jump on the fender, and just ride around, do whatever's going on.
While Tim was hesitant when the girls first launched into social media,
I thought it was kind of crazy, and I was a little hesitant at first, but now I'm kind of liking it because it's just real life, and people got to see that.
some of that hesitation was rooted in concern. As for a father, his biggest worry is always the safety of his 3 girls.
In years past, they were getting threats constantly, for about, it was like a good year or so, and their people were really going after them. And so, yeah, that was kind of scary.
He says it has improved, as even his addiction to the farm could be turning into a new addiction for social media.
I constantly am making little videos here and there, and then I'll send it to Claudia or Evelyn, and they'll make a video, and we'll come up with different ideas, that might work, and I have mostly good ideas.
Tim admits his daughters are strong and independent, even teaching him a thing or two about social media. And maybe that's because of how Tim and his wife raised their girls.
Don't ever tell a kid they can't do something. Always tell them it's possible, and just give them confidence and let them go.
As New York Farm Girls continues to gain followers and fans,
It's amazing. They're constantly impressing me.
these 4th-generation farmers are also helping secure a future for their dairy farm.
4th generation, it's kind of impressive to me because, farms are dying out, and my goal is just to continue it.
Even if it meant taking an untraditional path that uncovered a need for farmers to share stories through social media.
We had no idea it would take off like this. We started it just to share pictures of cows and calves and maybe teach a little bit about farming, and it took us a while to grow. We obviously didn't think that it was going to get this big, but we are so thankful that we're able to reach the amount of people, because at the end of the day, it's not really about your follower count or your like count, it's that you are getting that information out there.
But closing in on 1 million followers and fans across all sites is the product of hard work that required constant grit and grace. Now, it truly is a family operation. Their dad handles the row crop side, and Evelyn says her aunt is a cow whisperer. She's also an amazing teacher who's taught the girls a lot about animal husbandry and cattle care, and that obviously shows. Well, Farm Journal is also teaming up with New York Farm Girls for a fun giveaway, so make sure you go ahead and follow New York Farm Girls on social media, specifically Instagram, as well as Farm Journal. And in the coming weeks, we'll have details about that fun giveaway. Well, what a fun family. Thank you so much for sharing that story. When we come back, a major business debate when it comes to farm equipment. Customer support is next.
Over 10,000 years ago, mankind first domesticated cattle. At this exact same time, cattle domesticated us. Our 2 species have worked together and taken care of each other for centuries. Zoetis is today's advanced answer to that ancient bond. We help make it stronger, healthier, more robust. We are born of the bond.